is that what actions we should take. Should we have a carbon tax? Should we have cap and trade? Should we push alternative energy? These are points of very legitimate debate. And I'm not a politician, I'm not going to get into these. I think there are a lot of things we could do, and reasonable people could differ about them. What I really don't have any patience with, however, is the contention that global warming is a hoax, that it's not happening and scientists are making it up, and somehow there's a secret pact within the scientific community that everybody has to march in lockstep. That's just not true. These are real things, and we really face those. And I think what we should be talking about is not whether this is real, it surely is. What we should be talking about is, what do we do? Maybe sea level rising, ice melting, and more CO2 in the atmosphere is a good thing and we'd like to have it. Okay, let's talk about that. Or maybe we should do something about it. That's where legitimate discussion comes in. Do I think we can reverse it? I once overheard my wife describing me to another person, this was at a party, as a pathological optimist. And if you're going to be pathological about something, I think that's probably a good thing to be. I think most scientists are optimistic by nature. I don't think you'd be I don't think you'd go into science unless you were an optimist. And I don't mean Pollyanna-ish and just grinning all the time. I mean optimistic that knowledge makes a difference. And in this particular case, a lot of the effects of that increased carbon dioxide and methane concentration in the atmosphere are going to play themselves out over the next 20 years, and there's nothing we can do about that. But I think we can do things about changing the increase in carbon dioxide. And in particular, what I'm very enthusiastic about, I think it's probably because I'm a scientist, is new technology. That is really hot right now in the biotechnology industry is the genetic engineering of both bacteria and algae and some fungi with an enzyme called cellulase, which will break down cellulose. And the idea here is that in most of our crop plants, after you harvest corn, you have all the stubble and stalks and everything left on the field, which is either plowed under, perhaps used to some degree as fodder. That's mostly cellulose, and we can't use it for anything. If that could be pulverized and then put into a fermentation mixture with microorganisms to release the sugar, you could probably get 3 times as much yield of fermentable sugar from an acre of corn as you can get just from the corn seed itself. So there's a lot of intense effort in that area. Yeah, and I live in coastal Massachusetts. The town I live in is called Rehoboth. It was founded in 1643. It's one of the oldest communities in the United States. And we're not right on the coast, although we have a river that is tidal to some extent. So legally we have seafront, but I'm a short drive from the ocean. And I mentioned the fact I'm a softball umpire. This year I went out on the ferry to umpire softball games on Martha's Vineyard. They have a high school there. It's a nice ride out there. The team's right out on the ferry. The bus picks us up and everything else. And on the way out, because I had checked it out ahead of time, I got a good look into an area called Vineyard Sound. And if you know the coast of Massachusetts, Cape Cod comes up like a little elbow. There's a big island down there called Martha's Vineyard, and there's a smaller island to the southwest, southeast of it called Nantucket. In the little triangle between the mainland, the vineyard, and Nantucket is an area called Vineyard Sound. That's where, and you might have heard about this, that's where a company called Cape Wind wants to put the largest offshore wind farm in the United States. And if they build what they want to, what they have planned, it will supply almost all of the electrical needs of Cape Cod. In other words, close down the power plants or send the power elsewhere, it'll do it. It's been enormously controversial because people say it'll spoil their view and stuff like that. The gentleman just pointed out that he was in France recently and he saw a lot of fields of rapeseed. And rapeseed produces an oil called rapeseed oil. The people who market it thought, rapeseed, this is not going to go over well. So the Canadian marketers of rapeseed oil in North America decided to call it canola oil, which is Canadian oil. Anyway, but just about any vegetable oil will take the place of diesel. You might have to tinker with the engine compression just a little bit, but it'll be fine. So they certainly do use that. And you also mentioned the fact that cars in Brazil run on ethanol for the most part. That's much more practical in Brazil simply because they grow sugarcane. They have the right climate to grow sugarcane, and you can get more you can get more biomass per acre with sugarcane in the tropical climate than we can get from the seed component of corn up here. So it is economical. The other thing is, Brazil has no oil.